As much as we like every story to neatly wrap up its various plot threads, that's not always possible, especially with how complex some can be. This is the case across a number of media, and video games are no exception. Nevertheless, we just can't help but pine for some kind of official resolution after so many years. So let's take a look at 15 such unresolved threads that need immediate closure. Warning, numerous spoilers abound, including for recent games like The Last of Us Part 2.
I won't see you end as ashes. You're all diamonds.
We're not burying them at sea. What then?
We'll make diamonds from their ashes. Take them into battle with us.
A shining light to our brothers in arms, even in death.
We are diamond dogs.
Destiny 2, The Dreaming City Curse, Uldren's Revival, etc. You could write a book on the number of unresolved plot points in Destiny 2. The Dreaming City Curse, Uldren's Revival as a Guardian, Marasov's disappearance, the Nine, Mithrax, the list goes on and on. Heck, we're only now seeing some plot progression regarding the Darkness, aka the giant pyramid ships, but that's at a venerable snail's pace. Don't even get us started on all the threads from Destiny 1 that are still yet to be resolved, like what the Traveler even is. Heavy Rain, Ethan's Blackouts. Despite its contrivances, Quantic Dream's Heavy Rain presented a rather interesting suspense thriller storyline. There's only one problem. Why exactly did Ethan have all those blackouts? And how did he suddenly wind up somewhere else with origami in his hands each time? The explanation was actually cut from the final game. It turns out that Ethan and the origami killer were supposed to share a psychic link. Whenever the latter killed someone, Ethan would black out and traverse an alternate world that was flooded. Locating the origami at the end was his means of escaping, and that origami figure would be brought back with him. That only makes slightly more sense, but it's still better than the complete lack of explanation currently in the game. The Last of Us Part 2, Ellie Spares Abby. Many have debated on this since time immemorial, read the last 2 months. But amid all the problems that one could have with the plot, there's still the matter of why Ellie didn't kill Abby. She went all that way, risking losing Dina and their son in the process, which ultimately she does, and battles through the sadistic rattlers to get to her. At the deciding moment though, Ellie has a flashback of Joel and decides to spare Abby. It's later revealed that Joel and Ellie talked about the latter forgiving him for the previous game's events, but how this factored into her sparing Abby is left completely open to interpretation.
Go. Just take him.
Mass Effect 3, Shepard's Survival. Shepard's status at the end of Mass Effect 3 is interesting. Sure, there are the options to copy Shepard into an AI that controls the Reapers or synthesize all life as potential endings. But in every instance, especially destroying the Reapers, his ultimate fate is unknown. There is one tease in the extended cut that stands out among the rest. It's achieved by having high effective military strength and choosing the destroy option. Shepard seemingly goes down with the Crucible while the Reapers are also destroyed. However, in the very last scene, a slight movement in the rubble along with what seems to be an N7 dog tag can be seen. So, is he alive? The answer is still a mystery. Life is Strange, the origin of Max's power. In the first Life is Strange, Max using her power to rewind time and save Chloe is what caused the massive storm that's going to destroy Arcadia Bay, because something chaos theory. The only way Max can save the town is to let Chloe die. The question is, how did Max even get those powers in the first place? The theory is that there's something that's tying all these characters together. Even in Life is Strange 2, since Daniel and Sean lived in Seattle, where Max used to stay. But hardly anything has officially pointed to that so far. Death Stranding, the mystery of Timefall. The entire premise of Death Stranding is fairly ludicrous, but it's also pretty neatly explained all around. Sam's repatriate powers, and how the BBs were created, and the beach, and so on are just a few examples. The one exception seems to be Timefall, the rain that rapidly ages whatever it touches. It shows up when the BTs are around, but why? When it falls on, say, someone's hand, how come it only ages that part and nothing else? What is it really? Perhaps the inevitable sequel will explain everything, and perhaps it won't. Alan Wake, the fate of Wake. We've seen Alan Wake stranded in the dark place and combat an irrational version of himself within. However, Wake eventually pulled himself together and began work on Return, seemingly teasing his eventual return. It's taken a good 8 years or so, but Control's upcoming AWE expansion could finally resolve his fate. Or it could leave another cliffhanger. Who's to say? Batman Arkham Origins, the Suicide Squad. While Batman Arkham Origins was meant to act as a prequel to Rocksteady's main Arkham series, it also presented a potentially new story thread. Deathstroke, who was hired by the Joker to take down Batman, is visited in prison by Amanda Waller. She subsequently helps release him, but only if he'll join the newly formed Suicide Squad. Cut to black, and then 7 years of nothing. Rocksteady is working on a Suicide Squad game, but whether this ties into Arkham Origins or not is unknown. Star Wars Republic Commando, Sev's Fate. Star Wars Republic Commando is one of several amazing titles that were relegated to non-canon status with Disney's acquisition of the IP. Which is a shame, because stories like Sev's Fate will ultimately remain unresolved. After taking out the Separatist destroyer, Sev reports he's under attack. Delta Squad, originally intent on rescue, is ordered to abandon him. The plan for the sequel was to have Sev join the Rebel Alliance, but suffice to say, we'll never see that or other ideas come to fruition. Dino Crisis 2, Regina's Mission. Between killer dinosaurs, time travel, and alternate futures, there's a lot going on in Dino Crisis 2. Long story short, the ending sees Dylan remaining with Paula while Regina takes the data gathered and escapes. Regina does so with the goal of saving the duo at a different time period. However, the next game, Dino Crisis 3, does nothing with this, taking place several hundreds of years in the future with a brand new cast of characters and no reference to Regina, Dylan, or Paula. The series has been dormant ever since. Epic Mickey 2: The Power of Two, the Pete's Plot. Though the game concludes with Mickey and Oswald emerging victorious over the Mad Doctor, it's not a completely clean ending. The Petes of the Wasteland have their own agenda, kidnapping Prescott the Gremlin and planning something? While this was clearly a setup for the next game, such a sequel would never happen due to Epic Mickey 2's poor performance and the closure of Junction Point Studios. Resident Evil 7: Not a Hero, the Anonymous Group. So we know that Chris Redfield is working with Blue Umbrella, which is a reformed Umbrella USA working to atone for the original Umbrella Corporation's misdeeds. We know that Lucas Baker is part of a secret group called The Connections that was responsible for creating Evelyn. However, by the end of Not a Hero DLC, Lucas has killed his comrades and tried to transfer all of the relevant data to someone else before Chris defeated him. Who was this exactly? We'll likely find out in Resident Evil Village, but for now, it's another mystery. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, Fate of the Diamond Dogs. The Diamond Dogs emerged after the fall of Militaire Sans Frontières in Metal Gear Solid 5: Ground Zeroes, push for nuclear disarmament in the face of mounting peril. However, its ultimate fate is left to interpretation. We know that Venom Snake would go on to form Outer Heaven as Big Boss, but whether the Diamond Dogs simply began operating under this new moniker or were assimilated into the larger nation of mercenaries is unknown. It's a shame too, considering their history and how closely tied they are to Big Boss's journey up till the first Metal Gear. Grand Theft Auto 3. Donald Love is missing. At the end of Grand Theft Auto 3, Claude confronts Catalina and saves his girlfriend Maria. While Maria's fate is unknown, save for her talking to Claude before the gunshot goes off, followed by silence, there's also the matter of Donald Love. Love hires Claude throughout the game and is last seen with an elderly individual. After that, his fate is unknown, and even Rockstar Games says no one is quite sure what happened to him. Love for Grand Theft Auto 6 confirmed? Sure, why not? Nier Automata. The Ark. The various endings of Nier Automata can be a real gut punch, which makes the struggle to ultimately save 2B, 9S, and A2 as players go against the very credits that much more meaningful. However, one seemingly unaddressed point is how the machines use the tower to send an Ark into space to locate a new world. Whatever happened to that? Events will seemingly repeat themselves forever, but what of the Ark? And that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed what you watched and want to see more from Gaming Bolt, you can always hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon next to it. That way you will never miss any of our videos.